Everyone, Ken here with a brief message for you about my upcoming Silva Mastery seminar. It's a 2-day program that is designed to help you ramp up, level up your Silva Method skills, to help you stop getting out of your own way, to stop self-sabotage so that you manifest more of what you truly want, so that you have far more effectiveness in navigating life and all the challenges and crises as they come up, so that you create your best future. So let me just tell you a little bit about it and why I believe you want to be there. First of all, when you went through, this is for if you're a Silva graduate, meaning you have attended live, in person, or virtually, the Silva Basic Lecture Series, as we used to call it in the old days, to the more current version, Silva Life and Intuition System, then this may be for you. Very common experiences. We all go through it. I can still remember 1971 when I started feeling, oh my God, where do I begin? There's so much to choose from, so many cool techniques. But a big part of that is because it's so new and novel, we're not used to it, we're uncertain. We don't have the common ground. We're not used to living like this. So it takes time, it takes practice. If you've been following my work, you know that it's not a quick fix. However, let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you noticed when you use the skills and techniques to co-create or manifest, whatever your favorite word is, that sometimes it seems effortless? Whoa, we say, that didn't take much, and we're like, wow, all right. And other times, it seems like we've been hitting our head against a wall. I can remember going through the frustration of that at times, even as a Silva instructor, working on goals, working on helping to build my practice, working on just living with a family and raising a family, that there were times that I was ready to make promises to God. Things just didn't seem to be working, and in fact, maybe even getting worse. And it took a while, but I learned some lessons. I did my homework. I studied. I worked with my mentors. I did the inner work and have made a number of discoveries along the way that I want to help you with for that. So there are reasons why sometimes we flow effortlessly and other times we don't. And I can help you with that. That's a big part of what mastery is about. Or how about this? How is it that sometimes we know what we know about the tools, but when we need them the most, we don't use them. We don't feel like it. We get demotivated. Can you relate? Do you find yourself like that at all at times? Again, there are definite reasons behind that. It's a form of resistance, much like when we self-sabotage. We do things that ultimately get in our way, hold us back from allowing our best self to emerge so that we enjoy the life we deserve. Again, can you relate? These are some of the common things. And so mastery has a lot more to it than that. It's about building on the foundation. It is for that reason only for graduates, people who've attended the basic lecture series of Silva Life and Intuition System, because you know you've had a tremendous shift in your consciousness. You remember when you did caseworking? It's like, whoa. Most people say, I never in my wildest imagination thought I could not only do that, but repeatedly and witness my fellow students doing the same thing. We never go back, correct? There's this giant leap, this shift in our consciousness, and we never look at the world the same. So in order to achieve mastery, you make that shift, right? Through the immersion. In order to achieve mastery in anything, be it as a musician, as a business person, in a relationship, in your Silva practice, it takes what? First, new knowledge, information, tools, techniques, guidance, instructing, coaching, and we'll call that an immersion. And during the immersion, there's so much coming at us, it takes then what? Repetition. Without repetition, you'll slip back into your old patterns. Have you noticed? Excuse me, I wish it wasn't true, but it's necessary. Repetition, repetition. until it becomes so much a part of you that you just live it. Doesn't take that long, within 30 to 90 days, as long as you are consistently each and every day applying it, meaning implementing what you know, making applications of the tools, techniques, as they relate to your life and what's important to you. And after a period of time, you gain what? A level of mastery. Well, if you've studied with, you know that I believe in continuous education. I believe, even though today, 51 years, being a serious student, I feel like the more I know, the less I know. We're constantly evolving and learning and growing and integrating new ideas, new aspects of our personality, connecting with our authentic self, which takes time, and getting all the junk that's out there out of the way. Because you know we can't control the world. We can't control many of life's circumstances. And they'll always be there. But we can what? Control the perspective, the way we relate to it. So another big part of mastery is to ask yourself, are you responding to challenges, crises, negative news, and dealing with it and asking, what can I do about this? How can I turn this around? Or have you gotten so stressed out, and I hope not, but it happens to everybody at one time or another. I can relate, can you? You get so stressed out, you become reactive, overly reactive, and the least little thing triggers you, and you're like, ugh. And when that happens, the brain takes over, we go into a survival mode. And you've perhaps heard so many people with the research in neuroscience talking about this. And when we get into this survival or security-based or fear-based state, nothing happens. It's a big, huge resistance. It's protection. And we stop growing. And it's another reason why people get stuck. They reach a plateau and sometimes even what? Slip back. I can help you with that. Again, I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, but this is what I've done my whole career. I started in 71 managing, directing the largest graduate organization in the U.S., probably the world. I work with the best of the best. These guys are my mentors. And part of the training to become an instructor was to work to facilitate practice sessions with graduates. And I learned so much about the idiosyncrasies, the challenges that people from every walk of life were experiencing. And it's helped me to be a far better presenter of the Silva Method and also to work with you on a graduate advanced level. So we have a mission together in mastery, and the mission is fourfold. Number one, to identify what's been holding you back consciously, to understand, to recognize, to have a target. This will give you a target so you know what to work on. You know what you need to address. There are a number of guided meditations and games that I'll play with you that will help you in a fun way to activate and recognize. It's called self-awareness. So to become more emotionally intelligent, to develop any level of mastery when it comes to navigating life with grace, ease, and flow, it starts with self-awareness, self-awareness. And self-awareness to understand who we are, our connections, what drives us, what triggers us, what we can work with. So we have, again, targets to work on. So in the beginning of the program, I'm going to help you identify that and all throughout the program. So you'll leave with a roadmap. You'll leave with a proven system of tools that people all around the world in nearly 30 nations, hundreds of thousands of people have been through my mastery with me, working with translators in English and just, I don't know how many languages, quite a few. Then the second step in our mission is you need self-awareness and self-management skills, meaning tools, techniques. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So let's face it, if you truly want to grow, if you want to be better than you are now, if you want to scale up your business, if you want to enrich in your relationship, if you want to even just have a healthier body and health, something needs to be done different. Duh, I know, you know that. Just because you know it doesn't mean you're observing it, but we all ultimately know that, don't we? So you're going to learn tools and techniques, and we're going to address that to build on that. So I'm going to help you. Step number 2 in our mission is to clarify what you really want and to get those goals, those aspirations in alignment with what's important, who's important to you, your values. Because if you're vague and you don't really know what you want, or you say, well, I think I want this, maybe I want, it's not going to happen. So we know we need to elevate our emotions. We need to have not obsession, but an elevated state of emotion, of joy, because we know the benefits for ourselves, for anyone we care about. But if we're not congruent, if there's inconsistency, we're not clear, nothing happens. And that I've observed has been a big reason why people don't get what they want and they feel like they're stuck, and I can help you with that during mastery. So there's a series of exercises to help you get clear about that and to get in alignment. Third step in our mission would be, we got to rewire our nervous system. Today, and it's always been like this, let's face it, there's always chaos, there's always crisis out there, there's always something going wrong, there's always negative news. It's unfortunately the world we live in. However, if we let it get the best of us, and if we're not careful, the stress hormones build up to a toxic level. And when that happens, you feel tired, you have trouble sleeping, and no matter how much you sleep, you're not resting, you have aches and pains all over, and you don't know why. The doctors tell you there's nothing wrong, and you're not getting what you want, and you get demotivated, maybe even depressed. Sound familiar? I hope not. But it's too common, way too common. So the key is, because when that happens, you go into a reactive state. The brain takes over again. And this is another big reason why you don't get what you want. We all don't, because in order to be different, to grow, we need to what? Change. And let's face it, even though you say, oh yeah, of course I want to change. Inner consciously, nobody wants to change, because it's how we are wired. Neurologically and biologically, we are comfortable, we feel safe in predictability, in the same old, same old. And that's why people get addicted to their problems. People get addicted to the negative news on TV. People get addicted to the screaming on social media, because they get this shot of adrenaline and it keeps them in this state and they don't realize it. But when you're in that state, there's no real growth, there's no evolution, there's no progress. And that's the danger with that, because then we go into this stress state. And when you're reactive, you can do 100 deep breaths, you can count back 1,000 to 1, and you just feel anxious and nothing really changes. So the whole goal when you're practicing your Silva dynamic meditation or any meditation practice, as I hope you remember, is to quiet logic and reasoning and critical thinking, which are important, but they have no place in a meditative state. And the idea of meditation, the way we teach it in the Silva Method, is to access these states of mind and body, usually associated with alpha and theta brain waves, in such a way that you reach a super learning state. You're more open, you're less resistant, and you accelerate the growth, and you need less repetition. It is the difference that will make the difference in your life when you can integrate it. And all the things I've looked at, and all the modalities, and all the cool things out there that are helping people, I have not found anything to be as powerful and as effective as this practice that Mr. Jose Silva put together, and it's an honor. As you know, I'm the guy he picked in '84. There are 1,000 global instructors. I feel so honored, such a privilege over these years. I was one of 4 people to travel the world, and Jose was one of those 4 people. What an honor to facilitate further growth, advanced training for fellow graduates with this. So we're going to work on, I'm going to teach you a number of exercises, and right there in the 2 days, we're going to be rewiring our nervous system to get you into that flow state where you feel like the universe has got your back. It's very common for people to report to me, Ken, techniques as simple as the mental alarm clock wasn't working. Now it's working for me. Ken, I was still having this nagging, gnawing pain. That pain has subsided. It's gone. Ken, I still was feeling kind of anxious. Now I'm calm. I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping. The techniques that I was struggling with are now working. That's a sign. That's evidence that you're in flow, that whatever was in the way, you've released. So mastery is less about the information, although there's a lot of cool advanced information. I'm always upgrading. There's 6 unique guided meditations, games we play. You're even going to play games with your intuition. and learn how to apply your intuition in more practical ways for guidance, to make better decisions, wiser decisions, and even to facilitate healing for yourself and others. I'm going to go into subjective communication tools that Jose talks about in You the Healer, his book, You the Healer, on how to maybe collect debts, on how to forgive someone, truly forgive and let go, of how to improve communications where it's delicate, to reduce conflict. Some really, really cool things that I hear from people. Just recently in Mastery, I usually only do them once a year, once every couple of years, but because I now do them virtually, I can do them more frequently, and it saves you a ton of money because you don't have to stay in a hotel for so many nights, and you don't have to fly or travel to see me there. And thanks to Zoom, the impact is there. If you haven't been, if you have, you know, and if you haven't, you'll find out as we go through. So we're going to work on that. And for me, this is about facilitating self-healing, healing for others. So there are a number of exercises that will get you into a state of being where you feel more joy, you feel more gratitude, you feel better about yourself. And I just heard this from a recent grad. She's all of a sudden, things that weren't working started working. I manifested the money that I needed to pay for some additional coaching. She was working on a coaching practice. I hear this all the time where people say, it makes so much more sense to me now. And then the fourth step in our mission together will be implementation, application. There's a treasure of information in the Silva Life and Intuition System. I'm not going to review that. You can come back to class and review. You can go over your manuals. But I will help you to fine-tune yourself in such a way that you can develop more practical applications and be more successful. I'm going to help you to implement in such a way consistently that it becomes a permanent part of you. So it's a wonderful program. If I do say so myself, you're going to connect with some really cool people, possibly from literally from all over the world, because that's typically what happens now virtually, together with us. And you'll be able to connect with them and maybe further connect after the fact and have someone, a buddy to practice with, to talk with. It's so important to be with like minds. You'll be able to connect during the program and after. You also, as you know, get me. I offer a ton of support, more than I've seen anybody. I pray and program that my fellow instructors start offering more support. So after the fact, you and I, one-on-one. I limit the class size to 29, so you have my undivided attention. You have ample time to ask as many questions as you need. And then after the fact, you and I, one-on-one, privately, a coaching call, 30 minutes for me to help you integrate it, to answer questions you have, customize the applications. Then as a group, we'll come back and have what we call a reunion, answer more questions, look at applications. There'll also be further tools that I'll offer to you that are all part of the training, these bonuses, to help you understand better how to apply these specialized dynamic meditations you're going to learn. So my friends, I look forward to seeing you in one of the next upcoming masteries. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, you are far better than you give yourself credit. In fact, I believe you're better.